If you're over 60 and your shoulder has been aching, clicking, or just flat out refusing to cooperate, what I'm about to share with you could be the thing that finally changes that. Because most people spend years treating the wrong thing. They ice it, they rest it, they take painkillers, and the pain just keeps coming back. And here's the wild part. The real cause of most shoulder pain in people over 60 has almost nothing to do with the shoulder itself. Today, I'm going to walk you through one exercise, just one, that has helped thousands of people dramatically reduce shoulder pain, improve their range of motion, and actually keep up with their grandkids, their garden, their morning swim, whatever it is that matters to them. I'll also explain why this works on a deeper level, bust some of the biggest myths out there about shoulder pain, and give you some practical tips you can start using today, right at home, no equipment needed. So let's talk about what's actually going on in that shoulder. Your shoulder is the most mobile joint in your entire body. It can swing forward, backward, sideways, rotate in a full circle. It's basically designed to do everything. But that incredible mobility comes with a cost. The shoulder relies almost entirely on muscles, tendons, and a small cuff of tissue called the rotator cuff to stay stable. When those supporting structures weaken, and they absolutely do weaken with age, the joint starts to shift slightly out of its ideal position, and that's when the grinding, aching, and sharp pain starts showing up. Here's something that might surprise you. Research published in clinical orthopedic journals has shown that a huge percentage of shoulder problems in older adults, we're talking 70 to 80%, are not caused by the joint itself, but by muscular imbalances in the upper back, neck, and chest. Over the course of our lives, especially if we've spent years sitting at desks, looking at screens, or driving, our chest muscles get tight and shortened, and the muscles between our shoulder blades get long and weak. This pulls the entire shoulder forward and inward, and suddenly that rotator cuff that's supposed to glide freely is getting pinched with every single movement. That pinching is called impingement, and it is one of the most common causes of shoulder pain in people over 60. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and honestly a little frustrating, and because this is one of the biggest myths I need to address right now. So many people believe that shoulder pain means you need to rest the shoulder completely. You've probably heard this. Maybe a friend told you, maybe even a well-meaning doctor said it years ago. And while it's true that you shouldn't push through sharp, stabbing pain that worsens with movement, the idea that full rest heals shoulder pain is largely wrong, dead wrong, actually. When you stop using a shoulder, the muscles around it weaken even faster. The tendons lose their elasticity, and the joint stiffens up, which means when you finally do try to use your arm again, you're in even more pain than before. That cycle of pain, rest, more pain is incredibly common, and it's a trap. What your shoulder actually needs is specific controlled movement that retrains those supporting muscles to do their job properly. The second myth I want to clear up is that shoulder pain at your age is just something you have to live with, that it's inevitable, that it's just wear and tear. And look, I understand why people believe this, because so many doctors say it, and because it genuinely does feel like it comes out of nowhere. But study after study in physical therapy and sports medicine has shown that the shoulder joint, even in people in their 70s and 80s, retains a remarkable ability to respond to targeted strengthening. The tendons do heal, the muscles do rebuild, not as quickly as they did at 25, but they absolutely do. Age is a factor. It's not a verdict. All right, so let's get into the exercise. The one exercise I want you to start doing, and this is backed by physical therapists worldwide as one of the most effective moves for shoulder health in older adults, is called the wall angel. I know, simple name. But don't let that fool you. When done correctly, this single movement addresses almost every single root cause of shoulder pain in people over 60. It opens up the chest, activates the deep muscles between your shoulder blades, resets the position of your shoulder joint, and gently mobilizes the upper spine, all at the same time. Here's how you do it. Here's how you do. Stand with your back flat against a wall. Your heels should be about 2 to 4 inches from the baseboard, not right up against it, just close. Now press the back of your head, your upper back, and most importantly, the lower back, all of it, against the wall as best you can. This is harder than it sounds for most people, and that's actually telling you something important. Now raise both arms up so that your elbows are bent at 90 degrees and your upper arms are parallel to the floor, like a goalpost shape. Your elbows and the backs of your hands should be touching the wall if possible. If they can't reach the wall, that's completely fine. Just go as close as you can without forcing it. Now slowly slide your arms upward along the wall, straightening them toward the ceiling, keeping the backs of your hands and elbows in contact with the wall the whole time. Go as high as you can while keeping everything touching, then slowly slide back down. That's 1 rep. You're aiming for 10 repetitions once a day, and I promise you, within 2 to 3 weeks of doing this consistently, most people notice a real difference in how their shoulder feels. Now, what's happening in your body when you do this movement? When you press your back against the wall and slide those arms up, you're forced to retract your shoulder blades, meaning you have to pull them back toward your spine. This directly activates a set of muscles called the lower and middle trapezius and the serratus anterior, muscles that are almost always underdeveloped in people with chronic shoulder pain. These are the muscles responsible for holding the shoulder blade in the correct position so the rotator cuff can do its job without getting pinched. On top of that, the stretching of the chest, which happens naturally as you press your arms back against the wall, gradually lengthens those tight pectoral muscles that have been pulling the shoulder forward for years. So in one movement, you're both strengthening the weak muscles and stretching the tight ones. That combination is exactly what the shoulder needs to reset itself. Now, let me give you some practical tips to get the most out of this exercise and protect your shoulder in daily life. Because the exercise alone works best when you pair it with a few lifestyle habits that reinforce what you're building. First tip: do your wall angels first thing in the morning before you've used your shoulder for anything strenuous. Your muscles and tendons are at their most receptive in the morning, and doing this right after waking up sets the shoulder in a good position for the rest of the day. It only takes about 2 minutes. Think of it like brushing your teeth for your shoulder. Second tip: pay attention to how you sleep. This one surprises people. If you're a side sleeper who sleeps on the painful shoulder, you may be compressing that joint for 6 to 8 hours every night, and no amount of exercise during the day will fully compensate for that. If possible, sleep on your back, or if you sleep on your side, sleep on the healthy shoulder and place a pillow in front of you to hug. This keeps the top arm from collapsing forward and straining the shoulder. Third tip: check your driving and sitting posture. Most people with chronic shoulder pain spend a significant portion of their day in positions where their shoulders are rolled forward and their chin is jutting ahead. This is called forward head posture, and it massively increases the load on the shoulder and neck. When you're sitting, whether at a table, in a car, or watching TV, make a conscious effort to pull your chin back slightly as if you're making a double chin. It feels odd at first, but this one adjustment takes a tremendous amount of strain off both the neck and the shoulder over time. Fourth tip: gently move your shoulder every hour if you've been sitting. Prolonged stillness is actually one of the worst things for shoulder health because the joint fluid that lubricates everything, stops circulating when you stop moving. A simple shoulder roll, 5 rolls forward, 5 rolls backward, done every hour, keeps that lubrication flowing and prevents the kind of stiffness that turns into pain. Set a phone reminder if you need to. No excuses, it takes 12 seconds. 5th tip, be very careful with overhead reaching, especially with a cold shoulder or first thing in the morning. A lot of shoulder injuries in older adults happen not during exercise, but during ordinary tasks. Reaching for something on a high shelf, lifting a bag from an overhead compartment, or throwing a ball. Before you make any overhead movement, warm up the shoulder first with a few arm circles and shoulder rolls. Never reach overhead with force when your shoulder is stiff or cold. This is one of the most common causes of acute rotator cuff tears in people over 60, and it's entirely preventable. 6th tip, add some gentle neck mobility work alongside your wall angels. The neck and shoulder are deeply connected through a web of muscles, nerves, and fascia. A stiff neck almost always contributes to shoulder dysfunction. A simple and safe way to loosen the neck is to slowly tilt your ear towards your shoulder, left then right, holding each side for about 20 seconds. Not rotating the neck, not forcing it, just a gentle gravity-assisted tilt. Do this after your wall angels while your muscles are already slightly warmed up. 7th tip, nutrition actually matters more than most people think for joint health. Collagen is the primary structural protein in your tendons and cartilage, and its production slows significantly after 60. Eating foods rich in vitamin C, like bell peppers, citrus fruits, and kiwi, helps your body synthesize collagen more efficiently. Omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish, walnuts, and flax seeds help reduce joint inflammation. And staying hydrated, which again people underestimate, keeps the cartilage and tendons pliable and less prone to micro tears. None of this replaces exercise, but it creates the biological environment where healing can actually happen. There's one more myth I want to address before we wrap up, and this one is really important. A lot of people over 60 have had an MRI or an X-ray that showed a rotator cuff tear, some calcification, or mild to moderate arthritis, and they've been told that this is the cause of their pain and that surgery or injections are the only real options. Now, I'm not here to tell you that surgery is never the right choice, because for some people it absolutely is. But here's what the research consistently shows. A large percentage of people, studies put it anywhere from 35 to 50%, have rotator cuff tears visible on imaging but experience no pain whatsoever. The structural finding and the pain are not always connected. This means that many people who think they need surgery actually have pain that's driven by muscular dysfunction, tight muscles, weak stabilizers, poor posture, and not by the structural damage itself, which is why targeted exercise and movement therapy often helps even when imaging looks alarming. Always get a second opinion before committing to surgery for shoulder pain. Always. Now, before I go, I do want to say this clearly and sincerely. If your shoulder pain is severe, if it came on suddenly, if you have pain radiating down your arm, numbness in your hand, weakness you can't explain, or if you've had a recent fall or injury, please see your doctor before starting any new exercise. What I've shared today is based on well-established exercise science and physical therapy principles. But your body is unique, and a good physician or physical therapist can assess exactly what's going on for you specifically. Don't use this video as a substitute for proper medical evaluation. Use it as a starting point for a conversation with your healthcare provider. And if they dismiss you, and find someone who listens, you deserve that. If you found this helpful, please give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are quietly suffering with shoulder pain and don't know there's another way. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 morning stretches that can completely transform your hip and lower back health. Trust me, if today's video helped you, that one is going to blow your mind. Drop a comment below and let me know, how long have you been dealing with shoulder pain, and are you going to
to try the wall angel. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.